then we'll do 3 to 6, talk show. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we'll have more bands on the hour, every hour, broadcast live, and have their own separate link on the site where they can distribute that link of their performance. They'll do a short interview with me, 15 minutes. So 45-minute set, 15 minutes with me, and then next band. So while we're doing the interview, the next band can be setting up. We'll have a kit there so we don't have to change too much out.
All right.
And then in the lounge, we have an acoustic kind of set up with a piano and a small PA as well, so that anybody that wants to play solo or do an acoustic, or the CAC's going to do a little rapping probably. Anybody wants to do some freestyle or anything like that, they can do it out in the lounge in between sets when I'm doing my interviews and stuff like that. So there'll be constant entertainment. So that'd be the best way to get out, is to come to the opener. It's at Sessions on the River, Saturday, October 22nd. And we start at 10 in the morning. Doors at 9 probably.
All right. That sounds like an opportunity for any in the area to not only express themselves artistically, but get more involved politically, probably have their youth heard about things happening in the general area that may have otherwise gone overlooked by representatives of governance.
Yeah, like we're going to hit the PSW issue pretty hard, the wetlands issue in Niagara Falls with Gord Miller. He's incredibly knowledgeable. He was, like I said, the environmental commissioner of Ontario for 15 years.
Okay.
So he's an expert witness, and he knows, what's going to happen down the road from this, even when we end up at the OMB, right? So we're going to hit that pretty hard, and then it'll be a great place for you to hook up with other musicians for sure, because, I got Theodore Christ and Barbarossa and Stereo Sunrise is coming in on in November, but no, I got Burger Blake and Gould and Aaron Berger and the Blue Stars and Matthew James Blake. Mark Lalama's coming in for an interview at noon. He can't play because he's playing the next night at the PAC, but he's got a blackout clause. But we can play tunes off his album live from Coppola. So Mark will be in at noon. I got Anthony Botting and the Book for Wanderers at 2. Anthony Sweet is at 6 in the Sweet Experience. He's absolutely magic on stage. And so it'll be a great place. And then Peter Crisp was so far the headliner. I'm talking with Crystalline too. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get in or not. But so if Peter Crisp jams at 11 or 12, then whoever's left over at the end of the night, Roadways is playing too. Jihad Yahir. Anyone that's left over at the end of the night, we'll just keep the cameras rolling, and we'll just jam till the wee hours in the morning. So it'll be a good place to not only, get engaged politically, but more probably at this event to get engaged with the music community a little tighter and see some of the boys and girls that are coming out to play.
Excellent. Sounds like a great opportunity for anybody, like I said, in the area who has the surrounding areas to make their way down to and, mix and mingle with some of the artists and entertainers who, get regular circuit, get involved in the regular circuit of things. Yep. Now, question, because I've been talking to a couple of people about this Illuminaqua stage out in Welland. I'd like to ask your opinion as to how you feel that could be used more effectively for the benefit of the region, like tourist and entertainment-wise.
Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on that specifically. I mean, did they shut it down this year?
I believe there was one show a month, and given the amount of artists that were at the Niagara Music Awards, I'm surprised that the city's council aren't more effective, don't have a more regularly occurring event there.
Yeah, well, that's been a problem everywhere in the region, it seems, but we're making some strides. First, they need to make some funds available to the artists, right? So, and Niagara Falls has been doing that. They did we're going to have a culture jam this year for the first time in a while.
All right.
They did some shows over at the museum, Thursday night showcase there, that Aaron Berger and Nate Gould helped put on. And so those are the funds that come from the city right off. The city hasn't given the artists any money that I can remember ever. So this is the first for them, just making some funds available for special events and things to showcase talent. So before somebody will come up and say, hey, we got a proposal for that stage, they need to put some, either like a proposal together or something like that saying, hey, we've got some funds available, and then somebody will apply for those funds and then enroll it. So it really starts at the municipality as far as engaging some of the community and financing some of it so that, people can get off their ass and do something and they don't have to go to their pocket for it. So that'd be a good place to start. But I don't know that this...
I'd like to spearhead that personally. Sorry to interject, but you're talking to someone who's kind of been banned from City Hall for expression of opinion where it comes to having rights enforced. So maybe it's just my approach. It could be my stature. It could be the amount of time I've spent dealing with similar issues. So when I hear of your political interests, maybe off the record, which probably doesn't really ever happen given some of the laws that have passed recently, we can discuss a more appropriate approach that I could take to dealing with some of these, I'll call them differences of opinion to soften, the potential for this making it to other points of media. But, okay, what are the top 3 things that any artist needs to do in order to establish themselves, regardless of their genre, just from your experience working in this industry for the time you have?
Yeah, well, first you got to get some quality recordings laid down. That's number one. Nothing works without good quality recordings, and I know that's tough to do without dollars. And then distribution's a huge thing, but in today's day and age, you can put up a SoundCloud and have it out there as much as anyone else is out there. So I think it's just a matter of laying the stuff down, getting it recorded, and then getting it out there, and then from there, propagation, right? Through social media or whatever it means they use it right now. But I'm talking if you get a backyard performer or somebody that's playing in their basement and they've got some good quality work and they don't know where to take it. First things first, right? You need a song. You need a recording, something for somebody to listen to, and then you need to get it somewhere that they can access it. So I struggle with the same questions, right? Because I get a lot of guys around me that have some dynamite talent and some really good songs you can put together on a disc or what have you, and they don't get any pop, they don't get any play. So that's the part where I get stuck. But first things first, I would say get a recording down, get it distributed as far as access on the web or what have you, and then perform it live.
Propagation. That's a big word. Propagation. That was a serious word. We're going to get to more of the interview, but we're going to give you some time to stop and think about what you're doing. You just heard from Jim Fannin. Look up the Jim Fannin Show on Twitter, and be sure to make your submissions for the Sessions on the River happening October 22nd.
And think about what you're doing. You better stop. And think about what you're doing. You better stop. And think about what you're doing. You better stop. And think about what you're doing. You better stop.
Haters is undeveloped, they too negative. Sounding so cynical. Hating honest, you hating talent at its pinnacle. Grip the mic tight, talent or a tentacle. Respect my skill, you ain't bowing, then I'm bending you. Shallow, I'm offending you. Hollow, then I'm ending you. Make your jaw drop till you swallow what I'm sending you. Are you following my sentence, dude? Every sentence I sentence, y'all know what I intend to do. My intent is truth, entertainment subjective. Truth can be entertaining, it's still corrective. Yet still they connect with all the stereotypes. Why they assume what the stereotypes is what your stereo likes. And you ain't gonna like something you never hear in your life. Shine your own path, don't let them carry your light. You better stop and think about what you're doing, what you're listening to. And if it isn't the movement, why is it moving?
And think about what you're doing. You better stop. And think about what you're doing. You better stop. And think about what you're doing. You better stop. And think about what you're doing. You better stop.
Rappers adapting to everybody else instead of sounding more original. Rhymes is indirect, I guess it's thousands of subliminal. Saving a generation ain't a challenge to a general. Taking musical substance, break it down into a mineral. Balancing the syllables, coward I am lyrical. Deep in you shallow, so now you drowning in my swimming pool. Don't be straddling them fences, dude. If you start as a whole number, don't turn out to be a decimal. I hear new music and honestly it is garbage. The radio taking away the art of being an artist. MCs know the deal, but we thought you'd see it regardless. Don't fall asleep, you should target your songs with pieces of knowledge. So up and comers can carry on the tradition. Rhymers can acknowledge your echo along when they listen. Can't knock a spitter out of his groove. This is ether, so you really need to stop and think about what you do. Feel us.
Transient's one thing, but how far that travels depends on the amount of energy put into it.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So that's definitely something for the listeners to take into consideration. All right. Now, I guess what would you say is okay? The event. Let's talk about that again. October 22nd. Date, time, location.
Yes, Sessions on the River, October 22nd. That's a Saturday. Starts at 10 o'clock. We'll have doors at 9, bands on the hour every hour. Do the show 3 to 6. And then back to Born of Bands. And I think it's 133 Niagara Boulevard. It's right at the base of the Peace Bridge on Niagara Boulevard. It's, right on the river. Sessions on the river.
So on the river. All right. Good view. People mixing and mingling. Sounds like the type of thing that you think would be happening very often in the Niagara region. You know what I mean? People travel all over the world to come to see some of that which we have to offer. Water and wineries.
And artistic talent.
Artistic talent. There's a lot of it out here.
That's the number one natural resource.
Yeah. Just
human talent.
Exactly. So it's about getting those resources more effectively, I guess, in rotation or circulation. That Corey Cruz guy, though. I mean...
Yeah, what about him, huh?
Yeah, like, I get it. Wow. I mean, he's got a talent to himself, indeed. And, I mean, just the energy that he carries about him on stage, it's very interesting to be amongst all of those entertainers and ideas at the same time. Himself and his artistic talent, acoustically. I mean, I looked at some of his stuff online, and he has the promo, he has the circulation, and then I saw him on stage, and there's very few people who can actually replicate themselves as well live as they do in a production. So to even change that a level, that was, something that I definitely saw interest in. But, the show came together very well myself. Like, from the outside, I was taken aback. I'm like, really? And then I went inside, and, I mean, I don't know if it was because it was a church that it looked so star-studded and miraculous type of thing. And, I mean, like, it had that big event feel. It really did. It was peaceful. There was no tension. People were talking. It was, I mean, kudos to the administration who put that all together. And I mean, even with the hiccups, which always in an event, it was just the type of thing that I would like to, again, be a part of, even behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, just because of the amount of people it brought together in such an elegant manner.
Yeah, no, it's really good to see that many people show up to that, for sure.
Yeah.
You're always apprehensive about how many people are actually going to show, and it was good to see the place ran. So,
Oh, yeah. I mean, everywhere, like, once it got started, everything was filling up, and, like, there were just so many different areas and the flow of traffic was good, too. I mean, stunned was one way to call it, and then the light show, the stage, the different